everybody, Fred the Pirate here, and I'm here to do a review of Legend of Korra Books, Book 2, Episode 1 and 2. Um, so overall, I enjoyed the episode. There was some stuff that I really enjoyed, and some other stuff that I didn't enjoy that much. Um, so doing a real quick synopsis of the plot. So essentially, we start out by catching up with what everybody's been doing because it's been 6 months since the end of book 1, and so we catch up with everybody in Republic City. But most of the episode 1 and 2, and it looks like most of this season is going to take place outside of the Republic City. So we quickly leave Republic City and we go to the Southern Water Tribe. And so the reason why we do that is because Tenzin is planning on taking his family on a vacation, and so their first stop is the Southern Water Tribe, and so they can go to a spirit festival. And after they do that, Tenzin is planning on taking his family along with Korra to see all the other air temples, so Korra can improve her airbending, and so they can get a connection to the airbending history and all that good stuff. So Asami ends up coming along because she wants to meet with a rich investor who has a shipping conglomerate, and he happens to be from the Water Tribe. So she's going down to the Southern Water Tribe so that she can do that. I'm pretty sure that uh, the rich guy, I think he's probably from the Northern Water Tribe, but he might be from the Southern. They don't really say what tribe he's in. Other than that, it's obvious that he's from the Water Tribe. Um, so Asami's going down to the Southern Water Tribe for that reason. And so we get to see everybody interact, and we got introduced to quite a few new characters. I really enjoyed the new characters. They were really fun. I liked the rich investor character, like the shipping guy. He was hilarious, and I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed Korra's cousins because they were really hilarious. I especially liked her female cousin, and I liked the interaction between her and Bolin because they kind of have a romance thing going on, which is particularly hilarious because Korra's cousin is a total ice queen. Like, essentially, she's like May 2.0, except she's not angsty the way May was angsty. Like, she's kind of just emotional. So she's a really fun character, and I'm definitely looking forward to more of how her and Bolin interact. Bolin was spot on in this episode. Like, he was very charming. So that was really fun. I liked the world building we got. We learned more about the history of Korra's family. We met her uncle, who's a Unilock, and we find out that the Southern Water Tribe has kind of really abandoned some of its traditions, particularly involving the respect and honor of spirits, and that we're starting to see that there may be ramifications to that. And that her uncle, he particularly has a lot of issues with that. We find out that her dad got banished from the Northern Water Tribe, and that he didn't tell Korra that because he didn't want to shame her. And the reason why he got banished was because he ended up, he turns out that he was a general in the Northern Water Tribe, and that this group of bandits, or I guess Vikings or whatever the fuck they were, that they attacked the Northern Water Tribe. So he and his soldiers drove them out, but he drove them out to a sacred forest, and he captured these Viking people. They're not actual Vikings, but they're just marauders. And so he goes and attacks them, and captures them. But in so doing, he destroys most of this spiritual forest, and this angers a bunch of spirits, and they go back, and the spirits attack the village, and so it's up, and his brother ends up using his water bending to subdue the spirits because he has the ability to calm them because he's a spiritualist, and so he's going to the Southern Water Tribe for this festival. and he uses his spirit bending powers. Well, that's not really spirit bending. It's just he uses his ability to calm down spirits throughout most of the episodes because we get a lot of spirits attacking shit. So that was really interesting. He was a really interesting character. Um, Throughout a lot of, it turns out in this episode, Korra and Tenzin part ways because she's, getting really restless with the airbending training. She feels like she's just sitting around. So she and Tenzin part ways. So Tenzin and his family, along with his siblings, because we meet his well, we already met Boomy, but we meet his sister Kaya. So they go on, all of them go together on a family vacation to see the air temples, and they start out with the Southern Air Temple, and that was really fun seeing that. It was really fun seeing how the air temples have changed, over time. So that was really cool. Um, I think one of the things that I really didn't like about this episode, though, was Korra. Like, she was really just cantankerous and disrespectful. She was disrespectful to Tenzin. She was disrespectful to her father. She was being mean to Mako for no reason because, she'd ask Mako for advice and she's like, what do you think he should do? And it's like, well, I respect whatever you do. And she's like, well, that's not helpful. And I mean, I think legitimately throughout the episode, like, Mako was being completely wishy-washy sometimes. Sometimes he wasn't, though. But I think that's kind of the problem. I think, like, she was going to him for advice, and Mako didn't know what to tell her. And, and I know that can be frustrating, but she was just being completely cantankerous. Like, she was just being such an asshole. Like, these whole 2 episodes, she was just being really disrespectful and really whiny and really immature, and it was really annoying. And I think it's especially annoying because, Korra just has had no character development, like, at all. And it's like, I think that's one of the biggest problems with the series is they have not developed her character. And I know with book 1, I think they were trying to just do so much in so little time that things fell by the wayside. And I think her character development was one of them. Hopefully, in this upcoming season, they'll deal with that and that we won't have this issue. But it was really annoying. It's like, I'm really, her character is not endearing, and that really bothers me because I want Korra to be an endearing character. Like, I want to like Korra and I want to root for her character because she's a protagonist, and especially because I liked Aang's character so much. So that was probably, the biggest issue with this episode. Um, and it was and it was really weird watching her do that, and it kind of affected everywhere where she was just pushing everyone away. But the weird thing is that she wasn't pushing away her uncle, who she has little relationship with, and pretty much that she just liked that he could fight spirit monsters because she couldn't, and she's like, oh, you have this cool power, and I'm just going to have you teach me. And she just completely shits on Tenzin so she can go talk to her uncle. And it turns out at the end of the episode, after she does what episode 2, when she does what her uncle tells her to do, and she goes to the spirit portal and she opens it after a bunch of spirits start attacking her, that she opens the portal, and this unleashes the southern lights, and so she goes back to her village with her uncle and their posse because she went there with her uncle and her dad and Bolin and Mako and her cousins. Like, halfway through, almost towards the end of her journey, she dismisses her father because she's tired of her father being overprotective, and she's like, throughout the whole episode, she's like, well, why do you keep thinking, like, she literally goes to her dad and it's like, why do you think you know what's best for me? And I'm thinking, and I'm sitting there and it's like, because he's your fucking dad. Like, that's why he thinks he knows what's best for you. Like, why are you being a ding dong? Like, it's like, it was just so annoying. So anyways, she goes back to her village, you know, minus her dad, and then it turns out there is a whole armada of water bending ships coming into the port, and they're from the northern water tribe. And she looks at her uncle and she's like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, well, you know, we fixed the lack of balance spiritually here, but there's still more shit that needs to happen to put the Southern Water Tribe back on the right path, as he says, and to put it to unify the two tribes. And so I think it's obvious that her uncle is planning on taking over the Southern Water Tribe. And honestly, given the flashback of how her father got banished, I'm pretty sure that her uncle set her dad up. Like, I'm pretty sure that is totally what happened. And it's really interesting. This is also a really interesting kind of connection to the first series between Iroh and Ozai. Like, I pretty much, this seems like this is Iroh and Ozai all over again. So, like, except now it's the Water Tribe. I'm interested in kind of seeing what happens with Korra's cousins and her dad, because her cousins don't really seem like, they're definitely not like Zuko and Azula. I think we're getting a lot more of a replay with what happened between Asami and her dad, and which I'm gonna see how that works. I think we're definitely going into that because her cousins seem like they're really cool. Like, they're kind of creepy, but in a really endearing and very entertaining way. At least thus far, maybe they're just like regular creepy, but like we'll have to see. Um, but I'm really interested in seeing how that works out. But yeah, there's a lot of things calling back to the first series and to the first book. Uh, Obviously, her uncle is planning to take shit over. As far as Tenzin's families, and we're seeing Jinora develop a lot more spirit powers. So we're kind of going on the dual adventures between Korra and her posse and Tenzin and his family. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens. I definitely want to see what the ramifications of Korra's uncle's actions are, because that definitely looks like that's going to be really intriguing, and that there's going to be a lot of political happenings happen. But we're also going to learn a lot more about the spirit world, and I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Jinora. We're definitely getting a lot of character development with her. I just wish that we got as much, even just a fraction of the character development that we're getting with Jinora for Korra, because I think Korra definitely needs it, because, you know, or at the very least, like, she just needs to stop acting like an asshole. Like, it's like, if you're not going to do anything with her, like, at least make her less of an asshole. Because it's not enduring, mainly because there's not a logical reason for it. But anyways, I'm definitely intrigued about what's going to happen. Definitely looking forward to episode 3. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on what's going on. So let me know what you think, and make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys again next time.